Hey, Joe.
How are you?
Well, I'm so happy to be speaking with you, I think, for the first time in 10 years since
Really? Wow.
the last film that you and I got to talk about at great length was Supremacy.
My goodness, I remember now. I remember that was a while ago, and quite different, although sort of a similar character in a sense.
We chatted for the gray, but Supremacy we talked a long time. And it's funny, I just was at an event of Deon's the other night.
I love Deon. I've been over in the UK for so long that I haven't seen any of those guys or caught up with any of them. But how is he doing well? And the event was for a film of his?
It's for a new film he has coming out at the end of the month called Fear. He ventures into the horror realm with this one. And I've already seen it. He brought me in again in the editing phase. And it is really good, Joe.
Oh, that's fantastic.
But you have been such a busy boy. My God.
I've been trying.
I love what you did for Jared with Ballad of Lefty Brown. You can go between any genre. You have this great chameleonic ability to do that. And you consistently do that. Be it in something like a single shot or horns,
right?
Into a Western like Lefty Brown, or an adaptation of a real life event like Supremacy. And now you get to play the devil himself.
I know. Honestly, I think it comes from being the English guy over in the States. And when you're young and you get there, and the moment they sort of realize that you can do an accent, they suddenly throw the sort of obscure things that you know what I mean? Because they go, oh, this guy can actually do. So I think because I've always worked in a foreign accent, for me, it's very rare that I get to work in my voice or my natural accent. So I think once that ball started rolling, then it would change every 5 minutes. It would be one extreme to the next. And I found that it's quite nice because you get to hide a little bit. I'm sort of a nervous person, really, and quite insecure. So it's quite nice to hide behind some of those large characters. And there was nothing larger, really, than the devil himself. So I thought, why not? No one told me I'd be in makeup for 4.5 hours every morning, but yeah. So and that was a funny one because I'd had all these preconceived notions on how to sort of play. There've been so many devils. So how are you going to play this one? What are you going to do with this guy? And it was the costume and the makeup from the guy from Millennium. When I saw the designs, I'm like, what else? Prague. All this sort of subtle character work that I had done kind of went out the window because I saw the look of this character, their design, and I suddenly went, wow, I'm going to have to sort of change what I was doing on the spot, like right there, and just simply because it wouldn't have worked. Not only that, but then we got out, we actually filmed it in a quarry.
Oh my God.
So it was a huge limestone quarry, so it was a beautiful place. But for the setting, except they had all, the fans and the wind machines and what have you. And Pete Demenza and I would spend most of the time looking at each other's lips, trying to figure out when the other person had stopped speaking so that we could come in with our lights because we couldn't hear a damn thing because of the wind machines and stuff. So that was an interesting one to sort of adapt on its feet.
I have to say, your makeup was incredible. Absolutely incredible.
It was, and I'd never seen a tape like that with the halo being, a part of they fit. It fit in about 5 or 6 different major pieces, but it just took forever to fill the seams and paint it all in. But it was quite extraordinary, and not too grueling a process. So it was fun.
Now, when you get a script like The Devil Conspiracy comes across your desk, what was your first reaction when you read this script? Because I have to say, this is a terrific telling of this, a great twist on, revelations in the Bible and all of the theology and mythology that surrounds Michael and Lucifer and heaven and hell. I love the whole story idea behind this. But I'm curious, what was your thought when this comes your way?
One of the things that I'm sort of fascinated with outside of movies and acting and entertaining, that is the sort of where we are right now. There's a real blend of science and religion.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of things that are sort of, I suppose you could say, are being proven by science that these stories that we think are kind of myths to a certain degree are actually coming true. They can search for places. Sodom and Gomorrah, they found balls of sulfur in the building, and so when this popped up, it was just that the idea that this biotech company managed to find a way of being able to clone from the smallest amount of DNA, and thus the satanic group. I don't want to give anything away, but,
Right.
Get hold of this idea, and that blend of religion and science, I just thought was very apt for right now, for the times, and not only that, it's cool.
Yeah, that's just.
It's just a really juicy kind of subject matter to build a movie, a premise to build a movie from.
Yeah, it's something I haven't seen before. And ironically, I watched this. I just saw the article that came out the other day about doing more cloning, scientific experiments, growing a dinosaur foot out of an egg.
Right.
So this falls right in line. All these weird and wondrous things.
And I think that there's a lot of how do I say this? There's a lot of things that we think we know to be true that might just shift their place in time, if that makes sense. Events, things may that we think happened a long time ago might have happened slightly more recently than we think, and that proof through science and especially through DNA and carbon-14 testing, always evolving. So yes, I find it fascinating. I think it's a really exciting topic.
And the fact that the Shroud of Turin comes into play here, and that's been so much controversy over that in terms of authenticity, carbon dating, DNA over the years. It used to be just a given. And then as science progressed, turmoil resulted. Got your factions, and we really get a sense of that in the film as well.
Yeah, and it unfolds rapidly, and quite aggressively. But also, just on looking at it as a piece, just to bring in the Shroud and sort of, well, not really educate, but I haven't seen it pop up in too many. Do you know what I mean? There's plenty of Ark of the Covenant. There's plenty of things like that. So it's quite nice that it's even involved and used, and just bringing it up again so that the young people might even know what it is, because I think they might forget pretty quickly if they spend too much time on, what I mean? All that stuff gets kind of lost pretty quickly. So I think it's a good thing.
Now, how was the production process on this one? Because you were shooting in the Czech Republic, I think.
We were, and I literally, they sent me the script, I read the script, I said absolutely yes, and it was, I think I shot a total of about 3 or 4 days.
Wow.
And I didn't meet anybody. I met Nathan, the director, that was it. And we spent 3 days in hell, Peter and I together, and it was lovely. It was really nice, but it was a tough one, as I was saying, due to all the effects. They call them rifters, these huge fans that look as though they belong on an aeroplane with a cage around them. But when these things get going, you honestly can't hear a thing. So it felt like we were lip reading most of the time. But and also funny things, that you suddenly realize you have that gear on, and I had to stand up out of the throne. And I suddenly stood up and, just started to walk like a normal guy going to get a quarter of milk from the store. And I suddenly went, oh, no, again, it's because of this costume, because of this look. You can't move like that. You have to physically weigh more. So there was a lot of kind of discovery, as we were going on set. So it was intense and it was quick, but it was good and it was satisfying.
Do you, as an actor, with a film like this, you're in a quarry, you have the fans going, does that help inform your character and your performance? Or do you much prefer just to have a character go in under a normal circumstance? Normal clothes, you can walk like you're going to go get a quart of milk.
I think it depends. For example, in this film, Lucifer, we spend a certain amount of time in hell itself, and it's not a huge amount of time. Our story happens above ground, so to speak, and so consequently, the scenes with Lucifer are very short and sweet. There's no huge long dialogue scenes with him. So the sort of the nuances of the character, they didn't come from the text, the actual written words that he would say. It came very much from the outside in. How does he look? And obviously, what are the key markers of the story? But then again, if I was to play the guy going to the shop or to do something absolutely Mr. Normal, then you're sort of guided by something else. That might be the dialogue. It might be some stage direction that's in the script. So the worst thing is to plan too much and then to come in and realize that, oh wow, this is not what I was thinking at all, and you're too rigid and you can't adapt. And that can be quite scary because you spend the whole time thinking, you can any minute they're going to fire you. But thankfully that hasn't happened yet, so we're all good.
With an eclectic career like yours, what is it that attracts you to a script, to a project? Is it the director? As you well know, there are some people, they don't care what the script is. If so-and-so is directing it, they're in. They're going to do it. For others, it's the story. For others, it's just the character. And yet for others, it's how fast can I get in and out? So I'm curious, so I'm curious, what is it that catches your eye? What do you look for in a project now?
Well, it's funny because I think when I initially started, I was trying to look for things that would take me as far away from myself, as possible, and that comes with sort of extremes of character. So that if there was something that just any aspect of the person's personality, but if it was slightly over the top or slightly extreme, I don't know why I was always sort of attracted to that. I used to love watching, actors that would kind of go from 0 to 100 very, very quickly, and be able to pull it back. So that was a kind of something that I enjoyed doing. And then I suppose as I've gone on, some of the choices were simply because the kid in me wanted to go and climb a mountain or in a plane crash with wolves and go trudging through. Do you know what I mean? That sort of the child in me wanted to do that. But it's changing. I just finished the First World War film, and it was funny. I was saying to a friend of mine that the think that there's maybe it's part of growing up, but I think rather than chasing the thrill of the character, now I'm sort of looking for characters that are probably, emotionally driven as opposed to crisis or something exterior, but something that's really going on within them. So, but it all depends on what somebody writes and what lands on your desk.
Mm-hmm. Did the pandemic and lockdowns impact you at all, or give you more of a breather to be more judicial in what you picked?
It was, it's a strange thing to say, but it sort of came at the right time for me. I've been going flat out for a long time,
Mm-hmm.
and so it was actually quite nice to take a breather and just reflect a little bit. Coming back out of it, the landscape's very different, so you can definitely tell that just generally. I mean, we're here doing a Zoom. Obviously, we couldn't be together distance-wise, but there's all meetings really at the moment I've had are happening over the internet. So it's a different sort of animal, and it takes a little bit of getting used to. But film is film, and once you're on set and you're doing it, that's the same.
Mm-hmm.
So providing there's no more outbreaks and no more lockdowns, we should be okay from here.
Yeah, you need to keep working and making films, because that's what gets everybody through those lockdowns.
Yeah, I know. Tell me about it, yes.
As you look back on your career thus far, I'm curious, because you do keep going, like the Energizer Bunny, you keep going, Joe. So I'm curious, what is the gift that acting, that film and television gives to you that keeps you going and keeps you so engaged?
It's interesting. I think there's three parts to it. I mean, one is it's finite. It's bookended. You embark on the project. You do the pre-game work for it, and then you get nervous before day one of filming. Then you go and film, day one, and then you're off. And however many months that process is, it's so intense, and you're working so closely with people that it's sort of, it's almost like an intravenous kind of life, it's very, very intense. And then bang, it stops, and there you are again, floating in the world. So the sort of survival instinct part of it is to put your foot down and go and do another. And that hamster wheel just keeps going because the ebb and flow of it, when you're working, it's such a buzz. And when you're not working, you want to be working. So once you're on the hamster wheel, it's quite hard to get off it. And also, why would you want to get off it? Because that's what you do. That's your job. But I think, and also the fact that it's different every time. I get to play and experience things that I know I would never ever have experienced if I didn't do this for a living. So it's all of that combined, really.
Do you have a favorite character that you have played in your career?
I enjoy. I've just blanked on his name now. How about that? Mason Verger. When I played Mason Verger, it was simply the writing, that sort of Brian Fuller, Thomas Harris esque dialogue, which is just fantastic to work with, and in a strange way, not being able to really do anything from the neck down. It was purely from the neck up. Because he was, in his wheelchair, and there was something to do with having to sort of go back to the theatre, in a sense, and the Shakespeare and drama school, and playing with the language, and I hadn't had a chance to do that on camera. it's modern dialogue, but with the Thomas Harris dialogue, it really it was just a dream to play with. And for a young dyslexic guy, I have to admit, I had to Google a word about every other paragraph. It's that sort of rich, the writing. So, but yeah, I would say Mason Verger was a fun one for me.
I loved your performance as Mason. I loved your performance much better than the film version.
It was a scary day one for that one, because they offered me the role, and I was shooting something in Louisiana, and I'd gone up to Toronto, and I'd gone into makeup and put the makeup on, and I thought, just as I walked on the set, I went, oh God, no one's seen what I'm going to do, no one's seen what I'm going to do, and is it too close to Gary? And Brian and I had a talk about bringing it back that way. So, but it worked out, but it was a nerve-wracking first day.
Oh my God. Well, I can't think of anything more nerve-wracking, though, than playing Lucifer the devil.
Yeah, well, yeah. It was, but it was a small audience. It was just Peter and I, and Peter was lovely. So you know what I mean. So when it's just two of you, you're a team. It's not as if you've got a whole load of other actors standing there scrutinizing what you were doing.
But not too many actors can put on their resume that I played the devil. So
well, it's on there now.
Oh, Joe, this has been so lovely to get to speak with you. I don't want to go another 10, 12 years before.
I was just about to say, let's not wait another 10 years.
I hope so, and I'm looking forward to the next film, The Last Front.
That should be end of the year sometime. So that was fun. Young first-time director. It was fantastic. And Ian Glenn, obviously, did Game of Thrones. So yeah, we'll see. I haven't seen any of it. We haven't done any post-production yet. We've literally just finished filming. So
well, I look forward to it. But in the meantime, I am going to watch The Devil Conspiracy again.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Debbie.
Oh, and thank you so much, Joe. This has been a joy, and I can't wait for the next time.